Hey guys, this is Greg, Underground Graphics. Today we're going to go over something we've been doing for a while, but made some changes. So behind me, you're seeing our 2018 through 23 grill inserts. We did this, it's a little over a year ago. We did it on our 392 in gold. We've since put it on our Gladiator. Now it's back on our, with two colors on our 392. The only grill we've done in the past was the satin black Mopar grill. What we learned in the last year, we had a couple that went out to JL Rubicons, and we just assumed that the Mopar grill was the same as the Rubicon grill on the JL. It is not. Gladiators have wider slats, and the reason why it worked on the 392, one, it's a 392, those have wider slats as well, as does the 4xe, but that Mopar satin grill also has the wider slats. So we're going back, we're adding a couple more grills. There's actually 4 types of grills. You're gonna have that JL standard grill, which is the sport one-piece grill, which is what we have here, but in the Gladiator version. And then they have the JL multi-piece grill, which is going to be your Sahara, your Rubicon, and again, that 392 and the 4xe are going to be the wider versions like you're seeing on the Gladiator. And then, of course, the Gladiator is going to have its own sport grill alongside the Willys, which is a single-piece grill. And when you move up to that Sahara, Overland, Rubicon, Mojave, you're going to have that multi-piece grill with that wider slats. I know it's confusing. We're going to have all that written out on each item to make sure you get the right grill insert. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call. I know that with the sport grills, with them being one piece, it is going to look a little bit different than it does on the multi-piece grill, because that accent is going to actually be on the face of the grill, kind of dip in and roll in. They make plastic inserts on eBay for this, and we've seen them in the past. If you want to do that, that's fine as well. This is going to give you just a little, I think, a nicer look. I like that gloss finish on it. It's easily removable. It's not permanent. You can try it. It's not a big deal. But what we did find is that it being on the outside and having to roll in, we ended up doing 2 options. So this is the one that we typically favor, or we are going to favor with this. It's about 1/4 inch. All the way on the top and the sides, and of course with that dip in the bottom, it's going to kind of fill the bottom area. This gives you a little bit more room, a little more margin for error. But if you want to fill that all the way down, and again on the left side we have that full version. It's close, but it's not perfect. And again, if you're wanting perfection with this, I'm going to encourage you to get that those inserts from eBay. Unfortunately, I don't think they have them for the Gladiator. I think that's been an issue, is that whoever's making them, China, where those come from, I think they've only done that for the JL. So again, this is hopefully an option for you guys. We're going to pull these off, and I'm going to go ahead and show you installation on both new pieces. Again, you can see here, this is that thicker version, so that's going to be the full version. I'm going to do the full version on the left, and I'm going to do the standard version on the right. We're going to go there to there, there to there, and then here to here, and here to here. So on these grill inserts, and again, this will be the same for the JL sport grill once we get a test model to get that in and do that. So make sure if you have that, watch this video as well. So anyway, yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started on that. As far as tools go, it's really not a lot that you're going to need. Ideally, it's going to be to prep that surface. That's going to be most important. We want to make sure we use alcohol, get any contaminants off. This is the front of the grill. And again, I know this is on the vehicle, so this is going to be a little bit easier to do. Obviously, if this is on your car, it's going to be up. So just take your time with it. It's really not too bad. Again, we do it all the time on the other grills. So cleaning and prepping, that's the most important. As far as squeegees, scissors, all that, you're really not going to need any of it, but you are going to need a heat gun. So let's go ahead and pull these off. Something else I wanted to go over was the plastic squeegee, or the plastic razors. I don't think these are on our site yet, something we forgot to get on there. Really nice to have, so you're not picking that with your fingernails. Not everyone has fingernails. But that way you can do this and just kind of get that lifted up. We can also do that with a razor, but again, you don't want to do that on your paint, risk any damage. These we installed a couple days ago, so you can see how easy those come up if you pick at it. It's not going to fall off. And this grill has also been PPF'd. Really hard to see, but up in here where it gets tight, you can see those edges. So for these purposes on camera, I don't think you're even going to notice. I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. Again, I'm going back with that heat gun. I got my torch over there. I installed these all with torches, but I don't want you using a torch if you've never used a torch before for an installation. This material is just like all our other vehicle graphics. This is going to be wrapped material, so not your standard craft vinyl. It is a cast vinyl. It is air release, so you do not want to use water with this or any kind of slip solution. This will apply dry, and that heat's going to allow, so we're going to go ahead and clean this area up a little bit. That's that alcohol prep. We just want to make sure that our areas of where we're going to adhere to is clean. Scissors, these, I'm not sure how these are really going to be cut yet when they ship to you, if it's going to be already split up, but you're going to want to cut those fairly close to edge, and you'll see why here in a minute. And again, this would be, I think, my third or fourth time to do these, but I want to make sure we knew how to do this right for you. So again, just cutting it so you don't have a whole lot of excess on this. These are going to be masked with an AT65 clear. Again, you can see this is our 380 wrap film. It's going to depend on color what that brain is going to be, but it's going to be either Avery 3M or Oracal. I'll go ahead and peel that whole thing off. And really just kind of, what we're looking for is to line this bottom edge up right at that seam there. So again, you're going to have a little bit of play. If this tacks, you can pull it right back up. And then we want the edge here to be kind of right in the middle of that pinstripe. And if you look at the grill, look through that. Once you get close, you can see right through it. And just want to try to eyeball that. Give it a light tack. And again, you can always come back and move this. So we're going to come back up, and I'm going to kind of check just by tapping, and I'm not sure if you can see that crease right here. That's right in the middle of that stripe. That's right where I want it. This one's a little bit over to the left. I'm going to come back up and give it a little bit of pull on the left side, and just kind of see where I end up. And now I can see up here. I'm centering here, center here. Looks like I'm good there. And I'm going to get a little bit over on this side, but I'm going to go ahead and tack that down. All the same thing up at the top. So I know I'm about centered at the top. I'm right where I want to be at the bottom. Now I'm going to just give it a little tug to that left side, just to get a little bit more on that edge. I can even come over a little bit more. There we go. And so now that I've got that outside edge down, again, you see I'm just using my thumb on this and get that outside edge down. Now we can pull up that mask. And this is where you're going to want that heat gun. Like I said, you've got a little bit of room to move on this. If you're not happy where that's at, and I've already pulled that off, go ahead and apply it so you can get used to it. We're going to give you 2 sets with this. So I don't want you to worry if something happens on that first set and you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have done this differently. You're going to have an extra. So with each purchase, you're going to get 4, you know, and again, you don't have to use 2. I prefer the 1 unless I got 2 colors like you saw on our Wrangler, where we can do 1 color, and again, that's a custom. But again, some people like 2, some people like 1. If you like 2 insides, you're going to have 2 of those. But anyway, just give us a call. You'll see we can do all this stuff custom for you. So now we're going to go ahead and warm this vinyl up. And I just want to get right around that edge. You'll see that vinyl kind of start to lay, start to soften. And I come right in and just use my thumb to roll those edges in. And just work your way down. And again, I know this isn't upright, so if you are working on your vehicle, You may want like a little stool or something to be up in the front. It doesn't take too long. I know I'm doing a lot of explaining while we're doing this. But again, just get that warm. I roll that corner, roll that corner. And that's it. You want to go back, just make sure all that's down. And again, we didn't use a squeegee. We really didn't use anything. If you want to go back over with the soft edge of that squeegee, again, we have the blue felt available on the site. I think we will supply this with just a small squeegee. Again, I don't think you're going to need it. If you go with the deeper one, maybe. We'll see when we get there. Let's see what we think, if we want to use that or not. But again, this one's even a little bit easier. But again, we can kind of tack. And that's a little bit lower than that right side, so I'm going to come up a little bit. Again, it's safe to just go ahead and eyeball and then see where that's about center, that's about center, that's about center, that's about center. That's really good. These outsides are a little bit shorter than the inner 5. Found that out on the computer. This one's a little bit wide on the right. All right. And again, this is that standard version, not the full version. I like this one better. It's a little bit easier to install. It just looks a little bit more balanced, I think. But I'm also used to looking at what we have in our 2018 on the Wrangler and the Gladiator. The 24 grills, which we recently did, is definitely thicker. Is that those slots are raised? They kind of protrude a little bit, so we have to get a wrap around that. And I like the way that looks, but on this, I do like that thinner look. So again, we'll go back with that heat gun. Just soften that vinyl. This has to be done. If you try to do this without heat, those insides will wrinkle. So again, that softens that material. And we just want to just work that down. If that gets cold, just stop and give it a little blast of heat again. You don't want to burn it, just get it warm. Like I said, you'll see it soften. And I like to go all the way down to where it just starts to get to that larger dip. Right about there. Now we can go back and just kind of follow that edge. Roll that edge, roll that edge, and then you can see a little bit there where the PPF has its relief cuts in it. So again, this is the grill that was out of my Sport S Gladiator before we replaced the grill. So this should be the grill that's on the Willys, the Sport, and the Sport S Gladiator with the wider slats. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and get back and we're going to do our full side, or the full version. And again, we have these set up to only do the driver's side. This is just for demo so you can see the difference between these two options. But we're going to go ahead and alcohol that area. This is that, again, that alcohol prep spray. I just want to make sure that area is clean so we get a good bond with that adhesive. And these are going to go pretty deep in here, so you want to make sure. We did probably about 4 or 5 versions of this to see how far we could get in there without being too difficult, or, you know, perfection on these grills is just kind of almost impossible, but we got pretty close. So that's done. Let's go ahead and do that outside one again. Again, I find the outside one a little bit harder, but that's all the same, really. And again, I understand this is going to be a little bit different if it's vertical, but you'll see the process. Make sure you are comfortable when you put these on if you're sitting down and facing your grill. So it's almost like you just want to kind of give it a little test spot and then see where this lays. We talked about on that side that we want to be about halfway. I knew that was off. Halfway into that pinstripe. We're outside there, but I'm a little... It's not too far off. Let's see how this continues up to the top. A little better at the top. I'm going to go ahead and let that tack up there. And again, giving this a little quick yank on that, and then we'll know you can get that right back up. So that's a lot better. Again, it's kind of hard to see in that camera, but I want to make sure we're close to even with the crease on that end versus this end, because this is going to roll right inside. And now if I'm happy with it, we're going to go around that edge. We're going to pull up that mask. Make sure that edge is tacked. And then go back with that heat gun. Remember, you'll see that start to get soft. It's really warm coming off of that, so it doesn't have to be a whole lot of heat. I'll just back it up a little bit. I just want to get that soft. And again, this one's going to go a little bit further in, so this one may take a couple attempts to just start to get that roll going in. And again, I don't want to go too far back here. And then we can come back and kind of go all in. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera, but we're about, looks like about a 1/16 of an inch to that edge right here, and it does get flush here on this side. It's just a little bit less on that side. Like I said, I mean, we try to get as close as we can with this. The more closer we get, the harder it is to be installed. And I kind of just was like, you know, if we keep doing this, you might as well either get it professionally painted, get those inserts, do something that's not, you know, not to say that this is short term. Again, this is wrap vinyl. Once it's on there, it's not coming off unless someone peels it off. As long as it was installed properly with a good bond, you're going to be good. And now we'll just hit that bottom area. And let's go ahead and hit our last one. And then you can kind of look and see the difference between these two options and decide for yourself which one you want to do. So if you hold this top end up, and again, I know it's going to be different when you're working with it on the vehicle. No. So again, I can see my sides are even up here. I was a little off down here, but since that top is tacked, right, so same thing. You just want to get started. I don't want to go all the way in with it because we got to make sure we're getting even all the way down. There's a lot of contour up at the front or up on the top. And then we have that arch here where you see those, we call those fingers. When that heat's going to take that right out. And again, if this was calendared film or if this was a non-wrap film, even some wrap films are hybrids where they're kind of a mix of both. This is 3M, so this is cast. This is great stuff. Let's see, let's heat that up again. Focus on that top section real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see if these wrinkles come out. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. And I can't tell how far I am in there, but it looks like we're right flush again with that black mesh on that grill. And my interior side is just a little bit off, but again, it's much different than what we're seeing on the driver's side of that grill. So you're definitely getting a lot more coverage. And we just want to roll that in. Again, just use your finger. Make sure you get a smooth. So that's about it. I think we've got it all. If you want to look in there with that camera, I'm not sure how much you're going to see of that detail, but comparing the passenger side to the driver's side and the difference between how far that vinyl is going in versus what it is on the driver's side. This is a little trickier to install. Again, I like that 1/4 inch or this, that thinner up here at the top. In a dark grill, it's not going to make that big of a difference, but if you've got a white grill and you're doing a red accent stripe, that white's going to show. So it's totally up to you on what you want to do with that. But this is a great option. A great way to add an accent. We love it. We're putting it on all of our Jeeps. It's been a very, very popular seller. And if you guys have any questions, just give us a call. And yeah, thank you. See you next time.